You're watching Talkmania, and I'm your host CJ. Welcome back to another album ranking, and today's album ranking will be of one of the best death metal bands of all fucking time, Incantation. Yeah, voted on by the viewers of the channel. They wanted to see this ranked. They wanted to see this band ranked, and yeah, let's do it. 11 studio albums, 11 amazing albums, honestly. There's not a bad album. Incantation doesn't have one bad album. And you're going to see here, there's no shit talking. So, no rambling, yeah. Number 11 is going to be Vanquish and Vengeance from 2012. I don't go back to this album often, and it is the one I've listened to the least, so that's why it's last. It's not bad, as Incantation has never released a bad album, let alone a bad song. Not much to say about this one. A 9 out of 10. The only 9 out of 10. The only one that isn't 10 out of 10. My favorite track is track 5. Don't know how to say it. Don't know how to pronounce it, so I'm not even going to try. So yeah, number 11, just real fast. Number 10 is Primordial Domination from 2006. The album right before that. Yeah, they had a little bit of a gap in between albums, but this album, quite frankly, is perfect. Like I said, not a bad album in the discography of Incantation. All it comes down to is preference, and this one I don't prefer. I would like to go with the other 9 that are above it. There is no negative for this album, and it's just absolutely fucking killer all the way through. Not a misstep or nothing wrong here. 10 out of 10. Expirated Dominus is my favorite song in this album. It's an absolute ripper. This album has this weird quality to it that, not the other albums have, but I prefer the other albums over this one. Number 9 might be a little bit of controversy, as I'm quite inclined to controversy. It's been like what I've done on YouTube for like ever. Diabolical Conquest from 1998. Another fantastic death metal album, and pretty overlooked one at that. It's pretty overlooked one at that. Conquest gets overlooked because of the 2 before it, and Conquest having a different vocalist that only performs on this record. Conquest is a quality death metal album that has the old Incantation sound of the blast beats. Why it's here on the list comes down to the ones above it just being more perfect. 10 out of 10, my favorite on Diabolical Conquest is Shadows of the Ancient Empire, one of the all-time classic songs from this band. I would definitely say that would belong on a greatest hits. If they ever did a greatest hits, that would be a song that would be on that. Number 8, let's go into number 8, is Decimate Christendom from 2004. Quality death metal all around. This is another release fans say is skippable, but I beg to differ. I think this album is like well not skippable, honestly. This is one you gotta hear. It's one that adds something to the discography. The quality of the songs is here. The vocals are great and the riffs hit. This is the first album John McEntee did vocals for, which has been the case ever since. This is like the starting out of John McEntee doing the vocals for this band. And yeah, the vocals are really good on this one as well. While not being my favorite album from Incantation, it is very highly enjoyable. 10 out of 10. My favorite on the album is Thorns of Everlasting Persecution. Yeah. Listen to that song or listen to this full album. I definitely think that you won't. There's no going wrong with this album either. Number 7 is the one that's always hated by everybody that I don't get. I don't get why so many people don't like this one. When listening to this one, it's Blasphemy from 2002. I forgot to say at number 7. While listening to this one, I didn't even bother with the outros. First one is like 22 minutes. Don't even bother with the outros. Those outros were not needed. Honestly, they weren't. Those outros are not factored into where Blasphemy falls on the list, though. I don't hold that against it because it's the very last bit of the record, and it's not really that If you don't like this album, give it another try. It's everything the other albums have. The main thing that stands out to me is the riffs, as Blasphemy has fast riffage in some parts and just slow doom in other parts. It's a great contrast album. It has like slow parts, fast parts. It's just great. 10 out of 10. My favorite song is Blasphemy, the title track. I definitely think that song is the best one on the record. Number 6 is where I start getting into the ones I actually own on CD. Number 6 is Sect of Vile Divinities from 2020, the most recent to date. I seen Incantation on this tour. I do have a patch on the battle vest. It's on the back. It's on the back. It's like one of the glittery patches, but this album has a special place because I seen this one on the tour for this album. Another one of the new era, and that era is marked by technical brutality, which the album does not disappoint. The riffs are as brutal as all shit, and the vocals are nasty as ever. Can't wait for the next release. I can't wait for this band to release again. Yeah, honestly, they can never release anything bad, honestly. 10 out of 10, my favorite is Perpetuation, the second song on the record. I remember when I listened to it, I heard that song live, so that's why it's a special place. Yeah. Number 5 is going to be The Infernal Storm from 2000. Still sounds fresh with everything being on point. A highly enjoyable death metal record that has fun riffs and blasphemous lyrics. Fans of Incantation usually say this album is the start of the downturn, but I don't think they ever had a downturn, honestly. I think that this band has always been like full speed ahead and never. But I'd have to disagree. In my opinion, is this album is like the first three. It sounds like the first three. It has that sound quality to the first three. The songs here are fantastic, even with the third vocalist in 4 albums. Usually doesn't turn out well for bands, but yeah, Incantation is kind of the outlier in the pack, if you would say. 10 out of 10, my favorite song on Infernal Storm is Impetus Rage. I absolutely love that song. It's another great song. Check that one out. Check out the album. It's definitely worth your time. Number 4 is Profane Nexus from 2017. This album, an album to rival the best. This album is one of the best to come out of the 2017. A lot of good albums that came out this year, but this album is one of the stronger ones. The element that stands out the most is the pace change throughout with tremendous brutality and grime. This is one of my go-tos in wanting Incantation, with the song selection and variety being so damn good. 10 out of 10, my favorite song here is Rites of the Locust. Just absolutely a great song. I think Rites of the Locust is one of the all-time best songs from this band. But yeah, you gotta have, and now we're going to the top 3. These are the premier records. You could probably already think of which ones they are. But yeah, number 3, Mortal Throne of Nazarene from 1994. One of the most disgusting death metal albums ever. The production is perfect on this album, aka the production is absolutely horrible. But that's what makes this album good. It's got that I'm a fan of black metal, honestly. I'm a fan of black metal, so when production quality is not on par, but it adds a quality to it, I can see it. A lot of people have this low because of the bad quality of the production, but yeah, that gives it another element. The main element that stands out are the vocals. The vocals are absolutely nasty. They're so far back in the mix, and it just sounds like just hissing. Like, honestly, just like deep hissing, honestly. I see most fans put this one low, and I understand why. For me, the bad production quality gives it a good quality in itself. 10 out of 10, my favorite song from Nazarene is Demonic Incarnate, the first song on the album. It, like, just that start out, would just start out like just in the background of the blistering guitars. It's just amazing stuff there. Number 2 is Dirges of Elysium. I fucked it up. I not restarting. 2014, the new era has arrived for Incantation with the intensity cranked up to the max. Elysium is much more technical than the albums that came out before it, as this is why it's this high on the list. I know a lot of people probably put this near the bottom. But if you want a riff fest when listening to Incantation, this is one of the records to go to. And the album that's at number 1 as well. Go to the album that's at number 1 as well for the riff fest if you want that. Honestly, because it's the most, it's recent in the discography, it gets overlooked. 10 out of 10, the best song is Carrion Prophecy. Absolutely love that song. Absolutely love this record. But there is one album in this band's discography that just stands like a complete cut above the rest. If you don't understand what that joke was, I don't, yeah. It came from a movie. Number 1 is Onward to Golgotha from 1992, the first album this band ever released. It's the debut, their first and their best. Incantation started out on one of the greatest highs, releasing one of the most legendary death metal records right away. The first album they ever did was one of the most legendary death metal records released. I personally put this death metal album up at the pinnacle, like very pinnacle. The only issue is Golgotha can never be topped, and in many fans, in my eyes, and many fans alike, this album is probably the go-to. The songs are absolutely perfect with the classic death metal riffage mixed with the slow pace and Incantation-style vocals. This album is a masterpiece, and it's why it's number 1 forever. It's honestly gonna never be topped for me. This is like the one that I go to the most and listen to the most. 10 out of 10. The best song is the whole album. I'm gonna say that right here. The whole album. Honestly, I can't pick from this album. All the songs are just equally as good. But yeah, tell me how you would rank this band. Write your list in the comment section. And I'll see everyone in the next video whenever I decide to upload. So yeah, peace.